नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम। Verse number 21 onwards. We'll chant it together. Idamaham padabhikhyamanvaham ahamilinake pyalaya sattaya vigrahendriya pranadhitamah नाहमेकसत् तज्जडं ह्यसत् सत्त्वभासिका चित्तवेतरा सत्तया हि चित्तयाहम् सत्यजीवयोर्वेषधिभिदा सत्स्वभावतो वस्तु केवलम् वेषहानत स्वात्मदर्शनम् ईशदर्शनम् स्वात्मरूपतः आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्द्वयाद् आत्मनिष्ठता आत्मनिर्द्वयाद् आत्मनिष्ठता। Last week we saw Isha Jivayoho Veshadibhida and Veshahanataha Isha Darshanam Swatma Rupataha. When a Veshahani takes place, one sees Ishvara as the self. This particular vision in a way doesn't contradict various forms of worships and prayers. All the forms of worships and prayers are valid. They are there to seek the grace. And if one happens to see subjectively the Lord in a desired form, it is again grace. But then the grace is sought to discover this particular vision. Nothing wrong in seeking the grace. Basically, we have to invoke a devotee out of us. Basically, it is there to invoke an attitude of devotion and a devotee. Then ultimately, when it is from a spasmodic devotee, as Swamiji would have said, from naimittika devotee, you can say, sometimes devotee, sometimes not. When one becomes a permanent devotee, then gains the grace that I need not see the Lord, I have to see the self as the Lord, or see the Lord as the very self. So the devotion is valid, forms of prayers are also valid. The difference between Ishvara and Jiva, if you just analyze point by point, if you just write down, yes, there is a difference, yes. But then if you look at it, What are the causes of difference? The difference is caused only because of upadhi, physio-psycho complex. You may say, I am limited in terms of knowledge, I am limited in terms of my power, I am limited in terms of pervasiveness, etc. All it is body-mind complex. So the same consciousness from the standpoint of body-mind complex is jiva, and the consciousness per se, you can say with the upadhi of Maya is Ishvara, but then from the standpoint of consciousness, both are one. And what is the self-darshan? What is the self-vision? See the next verse, verse number 26, conclusion. Then what is the nature of self-knowledge? What is the nature of the discovery that Ishvara is myself? I am not separate from Ishvara. That nature of that knowledge is talked about as, I will repeat it twice and you also please repeat twice. Atma samsthiti swatma darshanam. Atma samsthiti swatma darshanam. Atma nirdvayat atma nishtata. Atma nirdvayat atma nishtata. Atma samsthiti swatma darshanam. Atma nirdvayat atma nishtata. Atma samsthiti swatma darshanam. Atma nirdvayat atma nishtata. Second word of the first line, Swatma samsthitihi, abidance in oneself. Abidance in oneself is Swatma darshanam, that is the vision of the self. Atma samsthitihi, Atma sthitihi, to abide in oneself. Samsthitihi, well abidance, you can say, common or most used word, which doesn't really convey the meaning. Rooting in oneself, self-rooted. They use the word rooting, as though it is some plant you are talking about. Very well rooted in the self. They use this word for sthita prajna purusha. Who is the sthita prajna? Well rooted in the self. Sthira prajna, etc. The safer is abidance in oneself. Why susthitihi? I will explain why it is called well abidance. Abidance is abidance, but why you have to qualify it, I'll talk to you when I explain the words. That is Atma Darshanam, that is a vision of the self. And he says, Atma Nirdvayat Atma Nishtata. Atma being Nirdvayaha, non-dual, therefore there is effortless abidance in the self, or there is natural abidance in the self. To abide in oneself is natural because self is non-dual, and abidance in the self is Atma Darshanam, is vision of the self. Okay? Now let us understand. Earlier I had told, whenever the words like going or reaching are used in Shastra, it means knowing. Yad gatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. The verbs implying motion are to be understood in the sense of knowledge. Yad gatvana nivartante means yad gnatvana nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. That is my param dham, etc. So also when there is darshanam, the meaning is knowledge. You don't have to take the direct meaning of the word darshanam, means seeing. Because when you say seeing the self, and if you take it the direct meaning, that means there is some seer in the self that is seen, and there is some means of seeing the self. Okay? So that triputi is involved. Duality gets involved if you say seeing the self. No. Seeing means knowledge. Then why don't Shastra say hearing, listening to Atma, or smelling to Atma, or touching to Atma, or feeling Atma? Because in all, first of all, you cannot hear or smell Atma because it is Nirgunam. Then why darshanam if it has no form? Why it is seeing involved? The answer is, in all perceptual knowledge, seeing, listening, touching, smelling, etc., seeing something gives you knowledge free from all kinds of doubts and error. I saw it myself. That means you cannot question it. There is no doubt about it. And what I saw, that means it is not subject to any correction. See, in the court of law also, therefore, if there is an eyewitness to a crime, and there is a witness who says, I saw it, the case is closed. The fellow loses the case because I witnessed. Therefore, seeing is said Atmadarshan. Now, this darshanam needs to be understood, as well as abidance in the self also needs to be understood. All of us, except some of you in US, all of us are abiding in our house because of Corona. We are abiding, very well abiding in the house. All are well rooted. The Indians are much more rooted than Westerners. You know the reason? This Western, I was surprised to see the houses, Western house construction, the kitchen and the store. The kitchen store has no provision to store food grains for the whole year. Whereas here it's so common that wheat and pulses and rice for the whole year they buy, oil and things like that. Whenever there is a season, they store it for the whole year. So they need not go for shopping every week. There are big drums. There is a special space to store the food grains. So Indians were more you can say quarantined in the house than Westerners. You don't have a big storeroom also to put our typical Gujju kotis, wheat koti and rice kotis. There is no space there. Anyway, is it like this abiding in the self? Like I am abiding in the home nowadays. And they say the lower self has to abide in the higher self, and the lower self has to merge into higher self, blah, blah, blah. They say this. The question is, are there two selves? Or the lower self has to merge into the total self? Jiva merges in with Shiva. That means Shiva is somewhere and Jiva is here, and Jiva goes there to merge with Shiva. Is it so? The answer is no. Okay? This is the limitations of the language. Shastra says, na tatra vag gacchati na chakshur na mano. The speech cannot reach because direct meaning of any word or any verb can never describe or explain the nature of the vastu or knowledge. This abidance in the self also is to be understood with the implied meaning. You cannot merge, you cannot reach, you cannot become one, because that self unto which I have to merge is limitless. Limitless in terms of time, limitless in terms of space, and limitless in terms of objectivity also. It was, or it is, or it will never be away from me. Never was, never is, and never will be. In terms of place also never away. And becoming also, it is never away. Bhagavan therefore in Gita says, Api chedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakruttama. You are the greatest sinner ever humanity had sinned. Sarvam gnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. By just raft of knowledge you can cross this ocean of samsara. Means greatest of the greatest sinner also is not away from the self. Self is all pervasive. If I am not away, neither in terms of space, nor in terms of time, nor in terms of objectivity. Like I am a human being, and I have to go and Bhagavan is there, Shankha Chakra, Gada, Padma, Chaturbhuj, some loka, and I have to merge. No. As a man or a mosquito or a cockroach or a snake or a lion or a fish or a fly, bird, anywhere, any which way you are, that in terms of objectivity also you are not away. And I have been away in terms of objectivity, means in terms of being, my form, my name, my shape, etc. Then I have to merge into him. No. He is all the space, all the forms is he. Isha vasyamidam sarvam. Where is the question of merging this to that? You just cannot, even if you wish to, because you are never away. Like even a snake, particularly the rope snake, the Rajju Sarpa, which you happen to see there on the road, is never away from the rope. Though it is snake, but it is not away from the rope. All the time it is rope. Then who is away? But I feel myself to be away. I don't say I am God. You only said upaditaha vedaha. How come you are saying so now? Please understand. What is away? And the concept of being away is created by what? Atma is not away. It is the buddhi is away. The ignorant buddhi, uninformed buddhi commits an error, creates a notion that I am karta, I am bhokta. Buddhi is defined as vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika means nishchayatmika buddhi. It makes decision. This is what it is, that decision. Nishchaya is buddhi. That buddhi makes nishchaya about the objects of the world and makes nishchaya about oneself. Aham parichinnaha, aham alpaha, aham karta, aham bhokta. That uninformed buddhi has a problem. In sleep, we dismiss this buddhi for some time. We keep it for suspension. And therefore there is no problem. It is totally uninformed, not ill-informed, uninformed totally. There is total ignorance, no problem. You cannot keep this buddhi in suspension for all the time in waking state. Like these modern yogis, modern meditators talking in nirvikalpa. In waking also you should be nirvikalpa. You cannot. If you are nirvikalpa, you cannot conduct your vyavahara. I have explained this earlier in Vrittashram, etc. Vikalpa means thought. You cannot be thoughtless. Discovering that thoughts are mithya, discovering the fact that I am not the thought, I am the very substratum of each and every thought. Yan manasana manute yena ahur manormatam tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. That is me. Pratibodha viditam matam. I am there in every thought as a consciousness, a substratum. You cannot keep yourself nirvikalpa in waking also. Suppose you had a samadhi for some time, again we come out of samadhi, vikalpa will be there. So, where is the problem? Since the buddhi has a capacity to know, buddhi has a capacity to be aware of the self, then there is a possibility in buddhi to commit error. Understand? What is away? In a way that ill-informed buddhi is away from the self. In a way, not ill-informed buddhi per se, but the ill-informed buddhi, that which created a sense that I am karta, bhokta, etc., limited, that fellow is away from the consciousness. That's how this fellow thinks. Whereas he is like that rope snake. That rope snake can never be away from the snake. Similarly, that ahankara is superimposed on consciousness. It is this ignorant buddhi needs to abide in the self. Please understand. You may say, no, Atma is all Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma, Satchitananda. Who gains knowledge if Atma is Gnan Swarup? Understand? Who is ignorant? Buddhi is ignorant. And it is a buddhi which is ignorant, or I would say buddhi has a capacity to commit error. And it does commit mistake of taking myself to be karta bhokta. Since it has a capacity to make error, it has a capacity to correct error also. Understand? So the error which was there in buddhi got corrected. With an underline I would like to add, not by itself, by simply asking, buddhi goes on asking, who am I, it's not going to get corrected. You know, the error got corrected by studying Shastra with the help of teacher. Okay? So that in a way you can say, who abides in the self now? Buddhi abides in the self. Is it away? Again, same thing, limitations of this word. It discovers that buddhi means that karta bhokta. Buddhi means that jivatma. Buddhi means that samsari, that individual, the limited I, discovers that I am not limited. I am not karta bhokta, but I am Satchidananda. That's discovery about my true nature is called abidance in the self. Understand? There is the buddhi, you can say buddhi abides in the self, or the right word is that ignorant one, I who thought himself to be karta bhokta, now that karta bhokta abides in the self, means discovers that naham karta, naham bhokta. I am neither karta nor I am. Exactly like some person having some psychological problem, playing a role on a theater and somehow started believing that I am the beggar. That fellow is said, if you abide in yourself, you will discover the riches which you are. Buddhi thinks I am dukhi. That dukhi aham is told, if you abide in the self, you will discover ananda. Thus Bhikshukaha is told If you abide in then self, then you have to qualify. If you abide in your real self, your true self, but there is no untrue self also in reality. If you abide in the self, then you will become the richest. Who abide? Are there two persons? No. That the Buddhi committed a mistake of taking itself to be beggar. That beggar discovers, I am not a beggar, but I am this rich guy. And begging was a role. That is called self-abidance. Okay? So, there is no seeing the self by as an object. Seeing the self or abiding in the self means shedding your own ignorance, removing self-ignorance. Or you can put it other way, gaining the self-knowledge at the feet of teacher. A competent teacher who himself or herself knows the truth and knows the methodology of communication as well. Okay? Who knows how to communicate. That from that teacher, the fellow discovers what I am not and what I am. Okay? That is what it is. That's where they use anubhavaha. And the word swatma anubhavaha somehow is interpreted as experience the self in a deep state of meditation. Deep meditation. Then he has to make it deep, can't say simple deep meditation. He has to lengthen it, deep meditation, and change the tone also. In a deep meditation, you abide in your yourself. If you go too deep into meditation, other problems will come out. Nothing else will be happening. Anyway, this abidance in the self means removing the self-ignorance. When the self-ignorance goes, the fellow abides in himself or herself. That is only one self. It is non-dual self. That is abiding in oneself means removal of non-abidance and owning up of the abidance that is my true nature. Atma samstiti swatma darshanat. Atmanishtha, that itself is called Atmanishtha because self is non-dual. Now, why he uses the word samstiti? You should be deeply rooted in the self. Deeply rooted in the self. What is this deep rooting? If you are rooted, whether deep or shallow, if rooted, that means subject to uprooting also. Someday, somebody can uproot you from your rooting, Then you have to do root canal here. That is another root canal. You do root canal to get again back rooted in the self. Please understand this. Why it is called sustiti. This knowledge is little different because the subject matter of the knowledge, or you can say the nature of the knowledge is quite different. Why? It is not simply I do not know myself. I know myself otherwise. I don't know who am I. That's not the case. That some people have that disease in old age. They keep forgetting. They forget whether they took lunch or not. They may have lunch and after 10 minutes they say, I didn't have lunch. Give me lunch. And even if they don't have lunch, they say, no, I had my lunch. And sometimes they question their near and dear ones, spouse and daughter and son, who is this fellow? They may forget, about themselves. But they don't know who they are, neither wrongly also. Here the problem is not only I don't know myself, I know myself otherwise. In a Shastric language called Viparita Bhava. That otherwise knowledge is just opposite to what I am. Diagonally opposite. Self is Ananda, I think I am Dukhi, Mahadukhi. Self is without free from birth and death. Oh, I was born. And some people I have got nightmares about Corona. What will happen if I die? If you die, nothing will happen to you. And what is to happen is to other fellows only who remain alive. Nothing will happen to you. You're gone. But all these kinds of fear, because of what? You take yourself to be physio-psycho-complex. I take myself to be body. I take myself to be mind, etc. So this viparita bhava is there. And born out of this viparita bhava, there is lots of doubt about what Shastra has said. So the knowledge should be free from any doubt and any kind of habitual error. Habitually taking myself to be jiva. Habitually taking myself to be samsari. That it should be free from that habitual error also. That freedom from, technically speaking, samshaya and viparya. Freedom from doubt. It becomes crystal clear what Shastra is. This is how it is. And I see this self in my day-to-day interaction. I own up myself to be Satchidananda, not this physio-psycho. In spite of being in the body-mind complex and conducting Vyavahara as body-mind complex, because Vyavahara is at Upadhi level, there is awareness that I am not body-mind complex. Last time I had explained to the actor as a space. Even though he or she conducts himself as a beggar, but there is a space to know that I am not a beggar and never was, never is, and never will be. So also here, the knowledge should be made free from any kinds of doubts and any kinds of habitual error. That is called susthiti, very well abidance. That means there is no unwell abidance. There can be abidance, but there can be some error. Habitually, the fellow may take himself or herself to be jiva, may go for some worldly pursuit to get happiness. And there may have had some doubts about the knowledge. No, the knowledge is crystal clear and the personality is so together. Once the knowledge takes place, there is no possibility of any further error, habitual error. Manana and nididhyasana. Samsthiti means the person has done mananam, has done nididhyasanam, and he knows and he can effortlessly abide in himself or herself. This is called Atmanirdvayat Atmanishta. And to abide in oneself is natural. Okay? Because Atma is, the self is non-dual. It is exactly, you may say, no, Swamiji, how can it be natural? How can it be simple? If it was, why you keep teaching and why should we keep learning and why Shastra says till you sleep and till you die, you keep listening to Shastra. Samadam Kuriyat Asukte He Amrute. But because it is like a typical yogasana, When you are used to sit because of computer, sit in a peculiar posture, bended the spine and the hand and the shoulder is bent. And then the yoga teacher tells you, you sit straight and do. Don't bend. I tell you, first of all, you will not remain conscious to sit straight. Habitually, you will do that. Again, after some time, do that. Again, do that. Because you will be comfortable. But if forcefully remember and do it straight for some time, very shortly in the beginning, there will be back pain because you kept it straight. In fact, back is supposed to remain straight. Therefore, there are bones, there are less muscles. Otherwise, Bhagavan would have kept it like our cheeks and thing, other lips and etc. You can't have straight lips unless you decide like this and then have a straight lip. It is designed like. So back is designed to remain straight. But we have been sitting in opposite posture for such a long time that when you go to natural state, it becomes painful. Understand? So also, for any vastu to abide in its own nature is effortless, is comforting. No vastu will complain in abide in a natural state. Therefore, he says, Atma Nirdvayat Atma Samstha. Abidance in the self itself is self-knowledge, and the self is non-dual. By mananam, by analyzing the Shastra, by looking at the other perspective, and by clearing the doubt, any kind of doubt regarding this knowledge, and by viparya, any kind of habitual errors are also addressed. And I own up myself by 24/7 all the time. That is called Atma Samsthiti. Well abidance means knowledge that is free from doubts and error. The error means viparita bhavana, taking myself to be what I am not, is for generations. So there is always a but. I know I am Ananda, but then there is a but. If you know Ananda, I know I am free, but if you are free, then where is but? It is habitual error. People come and tell me, so Swamiji, I know I should not worry about Corona. I know I am not going to die, but then why but? If you say I should not worry, if you yourself say I should not bother for it, but that means habit. Swamiji, is good now. I have started working. I am relieved of that thought that I may die. But what is this but? When I come home, when I am alone, at night, the same thought comes. What to do? This is called habitual error. Understand? Habitual. Swamiji used to say a word, orientation. Very beautiful word. There is a deha orientation. Orientation towards body, mind complex, eye sense. And I have a very apt example to explain the meaning of orientation. Okay? What is nishtha? Well rooting. What is well rooting? Free from doubts and error. What is free from doubts and error? Free from the habit. What is habit? Orientation. What is freedom from orientation? I am giving you an example. You know, in India, the driver is always on the right of the car. No? They have right hand drive. In US and etc., the driver in the steering is in the left side. So when I come there in the beginning, right at the airport only it happens, because you are tired with the long non-stop and you're thinking, and then I invariably end up going on a driver's side. And then they offer me, Swamiji, want to drive? They give me the key. Then I say, no. Then I go that side and sit in a passenger seat. Now I usually am there in North America minimum 3 to 4 weeks. After 4 weeks when I come here, I do the opposite. Then my driver would tell me at the airport, Swamiji, are you driving? I said, no, you drive. I'll then again go back. That is called orientation. Now understand? That is called viparita bhavana. You understand? and never to commit that mistake is called nishtha. Atma samsthiti. That is called abidance in the self. Just think of this. Just being in US or North America for 4 or 5 weeks, you develop an orientation to sit this side. You know, now this jiva has dehatma buddhi for so many millennia, infinite janmas. It takes time to give up this orientation, and the means to give up this orientation, means to give up this habitual error, the means to give up this viprita bhavana is called nididhyasanam, or modern word you can say meditation, and doing shastra shravan. More you listen with Shraddha, you keep on owning up yourself. More you own up, more you become free from orientation, viprita bhavana. So samsthitihi, teacher could have used the word atmasthitihi, but he uses the word samsthiti. Well abidance. Well abidance means freedom from such orientation that I am body-mind complex. Freedom from orientation that I seek something, happiness or at homeness in becoming. Jiva feels at home in becoming, whereas a wise person feels at home in just being what he or she is. Wherever he or she is, in spite of those limitations, there is awareness that limitations belong to physio-psycho complex. I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and therefore I am at home with myself. Whereas that fellow, ignorant fellow, taking himself to be physio-psycho complex, the limitations of this upadhi become his or her own limitations. And since I cannot stand my limitations centered on I, because I am limitless, that's against my nature, and therefore ignorant person is not at home with himself or herself. Samsthitihi means the person is at home with himself. There is self-satisfaction, there is self-contentment, there is self-fulfillment, because Atma is Satchit Ananda. Therefore he says samsthitihi, and human intellect can always cause doubts, and those doubts are also addressed by necessary mananam. Mananam means addressing the same buddhi which has raised the doubt. When you correct the doubt, the knowledge should be clear, without any doubt and without any habitual error. The person who has this is called well rooted in the self. Sthita prajna or Atma samsthitihi. Okay? And then please remember, he has no opposition to thoughts. Let there be thoughts. Because thoughts cannot deprive me unless I get carried away by the thoughts. It is like a movie. When you are watching a movie, it cannot deprive you of yourself unless you get carried away by it. Carried away means get identified with what is you see. The seer becomes the seen. Then you are carried away, you are identified. But there is no question like this. This fellow says, and therefore samsthiti atma nirdvayat atma samsthiti. Okay. Now there is a next verse. I think I will take up next week. Okay. I mean tomorrow. And I conclude that verse. Kim Swarupitti Atma Bhavad. It's a little longer one and I don't want to leave it in between. Just 5 minutes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।